Hi, this is Diane from dianescards.com, and today I'm going to show you, present to you the fourth in my series about casing cards, copy and share everywhere. So if you are interested in creating a card and maybe you're a little low on inspiration, there are a number of things that you can do. You can case another card. That might mean you copy the sketch, the design, the way they laid it out. Maybe you tweak it by changing it one direction, or maybe you're going to use a different stamp set. There are different ways that you can do that. You can get inspiration from cards that you see online, cards that maybe you saw in a catalog. So what we're going to look at today is changing up the colors. So if you're like me, you do look at a lot of different blogs and hopefully get some inspiration. And one of the blogs that I look at is Stamp with Brian. And the creator of that blog is Brian King. And he created a card, looks like this, and he highlighted the color combination, which looks like this. Okay, Stampin' Up! Color Inspiration, Soft Sky, Lemon Lime Twist, Peekaboo Peach. So when you look at his card, it looks nothing like this card, except I used the colors. That was the inspiration. That was how I got started on creating this card. So let me show you what I did. I used the Daisy Delight stamp set, which is in the new 2017 catalog, and it's a photopolymer set, and there is a punch that goes with it, but we're not going to use the punch today. And to do this card, you're going to need a piece of thick Whisper White cardstock at 5.5 by 8.5 for your base, and you're going to need another piece of Whisper White cardstock, the regular Whisper White, that is 5 inches by 3 3/4. And then I'm going to do some layers behind it, and I'm going to start with this layer of Peekaboo Peach, which is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and then that next layer is going to highlight the Lemon Lime Twist, and that will go there. Now I've only cut 1/8 of an inch difference, so when I put these together, I'm going to use the Tombow multi-purpose glue, because then when I put it down, I'll have a little bit of time to rearrange it if I need to. And then the third layer will be Soft Sky, which is the third color I wanted to use, and that will go right there on top. And again, this is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And then this layer where we're going to stamp is going to be, what did I say that was going to be? 5 inches by 3 3/4. The other thing we're going to do is use a piece of Soft Sky for the sentiment. All right, I used Your Thoughtfulness Brighten My Day. So I have already put these together, because it took a little time. I wanted to make sure they were just right. And if I'm going to stamp a sentiment on the inside, I will do that before I put the card together. So say I stamp the sentiment here and I goof somehow. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to throw out this whole thing. I'm going to make that the front. I'll try again. I'll stamp here, success. So now I'll fold it this way. Here's where I had my mistake. I'll just put that here. Just my little tip for today. So those layers we're going to put aside. This is the piece with my sentiment, and I've already stamped it. And I'm going to show you how to make that little flag. So to make the flag, you're going to cut up the center as deep as you want your flag to be. Can you see that? I'm going to move the light over a little bit. Move that up, and then just cut from this corner in to the cut, and from this corner into the cut. And there you have it. Cut a little bit more. Nice flag. I may trim this off a little bit. So there's my flag. I'm going to put that on dimensionals, and that's what we'll use. So I started stamping this a little bit, and what I did was take my Peekaboo Peach ink, because you're going to use Peekaboo Peach, Lemon Lime Twist, and the basic black. So I take the Peekaboo Peach. I've got my cardstock here. I've got my daisy on here. And what I want to do is just add part of a flower here. So some of the ink's going to come off. I like to use a piercing mat when I use the photopolymers. So I'm going to just put a piece of scrap paper here. So I'm just going to stamp this over here and then turn just a tad with that stamping off. And then I'm going to ink it one more time, but I'm going to stamp off lightly and then one more time, maybe about there, so that it has a little dimension. Then I'm going to stamp the center of the flowers, also with Peekaboo Peach. Is that what it's called? There we go. And close this up before we have a tragic accident. And I'm also going to do two-step stamping with the leaves. So I'm using the lemon lime twist, and you really want to use this solid stamp, and that's your first layer, and you want to use your lightest color. So I'm going to stamp off and then add this, so like so. Okay. All right, I'm not going to do, and I forgot to stamp that one off. I'm not going to do a lot of them right now. And then this one is going to be the accent, the outline. So I'm going to ink this up, and then I'm just going to stamp it. I'm sorry, I have to put my head in here. You want to go right over top of it. So now you can see the outline. It looks like two different colors, but it's still, as you can see, they were both the lemon lime twist. First I stamped off, so it made it look more light, so that it would be a difference. So imagine that I had that all done. I would adhere that to this layer. It's hard to see that pink, or the blue rather, but then I'm going to add this on dimensionals, and there my card will be done. Could add a little jazz in there if you want a little wink of Stella or some faceted gems. But I think I'm happy. I've got the right colors. That was the inspiration that I started with, and that's how I ended up casing that card. Sometimes when you look at challenges online, there'll be a color challenge, and that would be the inspiration that you need for that day. So casing is just a way to get inspiration and find a way to get those cards made that you know you want to make. So I hope this has been helpful for you, and if you have any questions, please feel free to email me or let me know through my blog, diannescards.com. Thank you.